In this video, let's talk about AI. Yeah, that's right. This is not a topic that I cover in this channel, at least not up to now, but I got a lot of pings, a lot of requests. And yes, once I'm already studying for AI, this subject, which is amazing, fantastic, I got the challenge and then, okay, now I have some content that I would like to share with you. What is the goal of this session? Basically, if you ask, okay, can I have one complete setup of AI for free in my home? Yes. Is that possible? Yes, I can tell you yes. If you have one big machine that is able to process all those amazing modules, LLM modules, and then you like to share with your family, like all the computers in your home, or even with that small Raspberry Pi eventually, can you do that? Yes, definitely you can. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do this, how to implement this, and the implementation that I'm using right now in my setup. So don't miss it, and let's go to the video. Let's start with the whiteboard. So the first thing that I would like to mention here is the machine. I have one MacBook, the M2 Pro, 22 gigs of memory. And yes, this machine is pretty fast, fantastic. And I was doing some tests already with LLM, and I can tell you, this is amazing. This is pretty fast. You see that. So my goal was once I start working with different projects and checking different modules, LLM modules, one friend of mine, Thiago Rizzo, thanks Thiago, kudos to you. He told me, hey, do you know JanAI? By the way, I'm not sure if this is JanAI or Jan.AI. So if you know, let me know down below in the comments what's the correct pronunciation. I believe to be JanAI. And then I was checking this project and was pretty cool, pretty interesting. Because, I'm lazy. And when I say I'm lazy, it is not because I'm totally lazy, but I like things that are here to help us to speed up our process, learning process. So I'm show you in a few what I'm saying about these points with JanAI. So you see, then I start using this one and move it on. The module that I'm using, at least for the sake of this video, is Llama 3.18b Instruct Q4. All right. So where's the goal? I can definitely deploy this on my machine, my MacBook, and I can open the interface, the graphical interface. I can do my queries. And yes, this is fantastic. Like I have tokens between 20, 24, 25, 27 tokens per second, which is pretty great. Eventually, I got 30 tokens per second. This is amazing. But okay, what is the big deal? This is free. So I'm not paying 1 cent for this access in my machine. But I would like to use in different machines. Like I would like to share this tool with my family. Soon I'm gonna start studying how to create my module, how to implement, how to do this and do that. And I would like them for test this new module I will be creating. And then okay, how can I do this? So let's think about this scenario. I can put one or multiple Microsoft Windows box, like Windows 11, for instance. And then how is this possible? Because how this machine is going to be connecting? Yes, this application has one feature, which is pretty cool. That is you can create like the API server. That's right. So once you enable that feature, anyone in your network, you can allow this to anyone in your network or maybe only the local host machine to be able to consume that API. So this is amazing, simple, easy, just one click and that's ready. So with that said, I can tell you for sure that Windows Box can be connecting to JanAI via localhost and consuming all the resources of this machine when doing queries. So this is fantastic. I'm also gonna show you installing one small module on this machine and trying to run. Yeah, we got something pretty bad, like 1 token per second. Was 1.5, 1.7, not good at all. And when consuming from this machine, we got 25, 27 tokens per second, which is pretty good. So, okay, we can move it on. Let's suppose that I have different servers and then I have my Linux or maybe another Raspberry Pi, for instance. It is not a Linux or not Mac. And then I don't have the application compiled for that specific platform. So how can I consume this? All right, there is one project that I found called Open WebUI. This is one Python application, and I can tell you this is working beautifully. Amazing. Pretty easy, pretty simple to configure. A huge community, very, very strong in the community. This is also open source. And you know that we love open source. We talk about open source all the time here. By the way, JanAI is also open source software. You can see the whole code. You can contribute. This is amazing. And then we can create that kind of connection very similar with our Windows box. Okay, and then let's say that I would like to work with another module. Yeah, that's right. I can combine multiple modules in a way that I can go to those clients and say, hey, I would like to consume the module A or module B. And this is amazing. With that said, at the end of this video, I'm gonna cover all those topics, all of them, and you will be able to see how to do this configuration. And believe me, when I was doing my research, I didn't find all this configuration in a single place. Eventually, I got some trick points here when trying to apply and create this configuration. Something that's not intuitive, but I'm here to help you. I'm here to share all the information with you guys. So stick with me, let's enjoy this, and let's go to the terminal. Let's start from here. This is Jan.AI. This is the website. By default, you can see this is gonna match with the version or the operating system of your platform, the one that we're running right now. If this is wrong for any reason, you can click on the drop-down menu. You can pick the version that you would like to execute this one. This is gonna download the binary you can install and you can move it on from there. This is a graphical interface. I love it. Again, I'm lazy. Things that I really enjoy here. You can see the GitHub. This is the GitHub page of this project. And here you can see a lot of information. This is pretty good. This is open source. Any problem that you have here, I recommend you to go to issues. Take a look on the issues. If you have some new features that you like to see in this application, definitely you can click on new issue over here. I have already some videos in this channel talking about open source, how open source works, GitHub, all this kind of stuff. I'm gonna share the links on the cards. So moving back, we have this Discord channel. This is another great channel because they have amazing topics over there. You can learn a lot if you are new in this area. I really recommend you. By the way, we also do have one Discord channel to talk about Linux, open source, satellite, whatever you wish. So the link will be available right now in the screen. Feel free to join us. We will be glad to have you around. And there is this Hugging Face with 71 modules. We'll talk about the Hugging Face soon during this video, but not yet. And you can see all the features, you can see all the information. Cool. To not spend your time, I downloaded this already and I installed this already on my machine. And whenever you open, you will be able to see over here one information say, hey, would you like to send some data for us just for the sake of troubleshooting and this kind of stuff? I never ever do this. If I would like to provide some information or help them with the product, I always will do something like this. I will access the Upstream, I will go to issues, and then I will report a new issue or request for enhancement. I will provide all the information, but I don't like to the application be collecting some information from my machine and uploading this. But this is my opinion. If you like to share all the information just for the sake to improve your application, it is up to you. In my case, I said no, I don't allow this, and that's okay. I can still use this application. So this is the JanAI first impress, and there is no chat yet. So let's put this one running. If we click here, this is the main screen. If you click on the hub, you can see some modules. And basically on the modules, you can see the size, you can see the button. If you click over here, you can see the description. This is good. Like we have coding, general word knowledge, chat, general user situation. And this is 1B. Then we can scroll down and you can see that for some modules, this will be slow on your device. And why is that? Maybe because of the memory. This guy is doing one assessment in my machine, and based on the resources that I do have in my machine, they are predicting, hey, this will be very slow in your machine. For the sake of this video, we are going to use this one over here. General use situation, including chat, general word knowledge, and coding. You know, we love coding, why not? So let's give it a try on this one. So for this, just click on download. This is gonna download the model and we can work from there. So let's wait for this. Great, the module was downloaded, we can see. And right now, what I can do is just click over here, new thread. Then I can see the Llama 3.18b is here. There are a bunch of features on this application. You can basically expand and check all the information. This is not the focus of this video right now. Let me know in the comments down below if you like for me to be going on all the options, all the features on this application. But at this moment, we can get rid of that menu. We can also get rid of this, and this is pretty convenient because now it is just a chat. I will bring this back, then we can be sure that we are talking with this guy and say hi. Let me bring this one here. Let me resize this a little bit. Yeah, like this. So we are connecting. This is my memory and this is my CPU. We can see a small spike here, but not too much. If you take a look on the Y, look at that. 30.07 tokens per second. This is great. Can you tell me something about Canada? So let's take a look. We can see the memory consumption. The average is 28, 27 tokens per second. This is good. What about Brazil? 26, 27 tokens per second. This is good. We can see this is working. This is one AI that we are using here, one specific module, Llama 3.1, and this is working beautifully. Like, I would like now to move it on and share this with the whole family, the whole computers on my environment. Also integrating with some VS Code and this kind of stuff. But how can I do that? So basically this is the application. As I mentioned before, there are a bunch of flags, a bunch of features that we can play with, but the one in specific is this one over here, local API server. Let me bring this back. Let's click on local API server. And here we are. So we have this option to start a server. If we pick 127.0.0.1, this is localhost, which means only my machine should be able to access this API server. If I would like to open this to my network, my local network, I can definitely put 0000. And what will happen is if I have one or multiple IP address on my machine, all of them will be listening on this specific port, 1337. And then anyone in my network should be able to reach out to my machine and consume this API. And the API prefix will be /v1. That's it. This is the information. I can click on start and there you go. Now we are listening on this port to an IP address. One thing though that you can notice here is whenever I'm executing this as a server, I'm not able to use this client to apply some queries. So now I'm in trouble because I'm creating like a monster, you know. I'm providing this content to all the machines on my environment, but I'm not able to run the queries myself on this application. Eventually, you can run multiple applications in the same machine, like multiple instances, but I tried this one with Jan and was not possible too. And that's okay. I'm gonna show you, if we go to the graph, this application, because this is what I'm using in my local machine to consume this guy. So we'll be there in a few. All right, we have this one up and running, and this is good. Now the next step is this. Like, we tested first this one connecting locally, and that worked fine. Now I would like to work with my Windows box connecting to JanAI. So let's see this working. I have here one Windows box. Let me put like this. I'll keep this one here just for the sake of logging. I would like to see some additional information. Before we move it on, if we click on this API playground, it is the same as getting on port 1337. So let me open this localhost 1337. And here we can see that we can connect and we can navigate, we can interact, we can try it out. So this is a pretty neat way to consume the API and see the response, see all the information, see if this is working. This is a little bit advanced. We will not spend too much time here, at least not in this video. Let me know down below if you like to understand more the API and how to consume the API. I have another video talking about API on satellite, which is totally different from this one specifically. But let's return. We have this one. We can see the connection over here. We can see the logs. Right now, let's work with the Windows box. This is a Windows 11, and what I did was same steps as on my Mac. I opened one website, Jan.AI. You can see that this one was able to identify the base OS, which is Microsoft Windows, and then you can click download and install. The website is the same. I'll not spend time here. I downloaded already, and we have the application here up and running. So, okay, what now? How can I test this connection? Before, let's do one exercise. This will be quick. We can click on Hub. And from here, you can see that most of them is slow on this device. I kept this machine with 8 gigs on purpose. And let's pick the first one with 1B. We can see the description. Let's download this one. I would like to use this module just to show the performance on this machine. Like on this one, on the macOS, we got like 27, 30 eventually. In this one, my expectation is too low. Maybe 2, top. But for sure, 1 token per second, which is not good. Like for the user experience, this is pretty bad. But let's give it a try. Okay, the download was executed. We can click on use. We are here on the chat. We can see this is the module. And let's say hi. Wow, look at that. This machine is yelling. Like, check the CPU, check the memory. We have no response yet. Yeah, now we can see 1 token per second, 1.21. I believe you can see that. Yeah. Yeah, this is not good at all. Tell me something about Canada in a few words. Let's be helpful. Just to be quick and don't put this machine crying. See, this is not good at all. If you are learning or if you are studying different model right now, LLM model, yeah, this kind of expectation or response can be traumatic in a way that you say, okay, I don't have a machine, I will stop. I will not move it on. See, the time to move it on, the time to get a response, getting 1 token or 2 tokens stop for a second, it is not good at all. Like, okay, the response was friendly, diverse, and vast. Yeah, too short, that's okay. But we can see the token, the number of tokens was 1 point something, 1-ish. All right, great, let's do this. I'm gonna click on settings. This is the model. I don't want this model anymore. Let's stop. We can see the resources here should return, and I will just delete this one. Okay, the machine now is breathing again. For God's sake, this is good. And how can we move it on with this, connecting this to our server? So if we came over here to the main one, this thread, we can see that there is no model at this moment. I have to create one configuration. I'll keep this chat over here, but let me show how to do this. We can click on settings. Let me move this to this side. Then you can see with me. There is this open router. By default, this is the current information. This is the default information. And we would like to set up this one properly to point to JanAI. And what should be the information here? Like this is expecting one path, and the path will be the IP address of our server, /API /v1 /chat /completion. So let's do this. HTTP. Remember, this one is using HTTP, not HTTPS. We have no certificate here at all. We need the IP address. How can I get the IP address? In my case, I know this is my IP address. So I can put like this. And 192.168.86.228. I have one specific port. So 1337 or 1337. So column 1337 slash, and then I can put all the rest, which will be v1 chat completions. If you say, Wally, you memorize this one, I have no idea about this, how can I get this information? Anytime you can come back to the API endpoints and how to access that, just click on this button. This is gonna open this page. Completions is this one. You can always click on try it out. Click on execute. Doesn't matter the value that we have here. The nice about Swagger is this. You have the link. You have the information. So I'm looking for this one. Eventually I can copy and paste. This is not the case here because I'm using a different machine, virtual environment. But basically it will be something like this. HTTP, localhost, or you can set the IP address, port 1337 /v1 /chat /completions. And then we can double check completions. Okay, what else do we need? We need a module. So for the sake of the module, I can get this one over here, llama. Let's put like this. And I can also type llama 3.1-8b-instruct. Most of the time when working with AI, or at least the API related to AI, they require some sort of API key or token in a way that you can authenticate and consume. This is not a requirement here, but this will be a requirement for this application working as a client. So for the sake of this video and for the sake of this configuration, you can type 1234. Doesn't matter the information that you type here. This is just to allow this configuration. And I agree, this will be a nice request for enhancement for this application to set the token in a way that I can just go here and type the correct token just to create some sort of security even in my local network. All right, once we have this, there we go. Now let me return to this thread. I'm gonna create a new chat or a new thread. And from here, I can click on cloud, scroll down, and you can see open router over here. And that's it. Simple like that. Let's give it a try. Let me clean up this one and say hi. Look at that beauty. This is the moment, guys, that you click on the thumbs up, click on the registration, subscribe button, because this is fantastic. You can see now the request here. This request is coming from that client. And check this out. This was 30 tokens per second. Impressive. All right, can we do another question? Can you tell me something about Canada? Yeah, look at that. 27 tokens per second. If we take a look now on the performance of the client, I can see the high usage of CPU, but not because we have some module over here, was just the application running. And then we can see this went down. The memory is not in use at all because of this. Then yes, this machine can breathe. This machine can collect some information easily. And let me put the load here because I would like to check the information on the Mac as well. So what about Brazil? We can see one more request. We can see the memory. Let's take a look on the CPU. Yeah, see, this machine is amazing. Basically, the memory is the guy here. But we can see that this is working fine. Like everyone in your home will be able to do this kind of query, request any information. The response time will be amazing. And the user experience here is amazing, awesome. And the very important part, no cost at all. You see that I'm not paying a fee for any of this. Like JanAI is free, you can download. The Llama model is open, you can download. These windows, I'm not paying for this window. I just download the ISO from Microsoft website. I install this machine, you can see activate window. So yeah, I'm not a Windows user. So I just got this one for the sake of this video. But yeah, I'm not spending one dime. And you can do the same in your environment. This is the good news. All right, just to close up this one. In this one points into the local model. We saw one token, top 2. And in this one, you can see that we got a pretty good response. Even about coding. Create one Python code that will say, I love you, using any sort of UI. So see, one more request. This is one simple example. We can see 25 tokens, 26-ish. Look at that. This is beauty. All the information. This one is using Takinter. Yeah, so you got the point here. This is amazing. This is working fine. And this is from Windows box. So if we return to this graph, that's it. We are here in this point. But now let's move it on. Let's say that we would like to deploy this one. Like in my machine, specifically, I'm gonna do this. But let's suppose that you have a Raspberry Pi, you have a different operating system, that there is no application, you cannot enable or install JanAI client to do the connection as we did with Windows. So let's move it on to the next. So for the sake of this one, let me bring back the terminal. I'm gonna clean up this terminal here. There is one project called Open WebUI, which is this. And one more time, this is open source. This is amazing. Open source is gold. Guys, you have to start on open source if you are not yet. You can read all the documentation. You can see we have containers of this, so you don't need to install if you don't want. You can use the container. But again, for the sake of this video, and once we talk about Python multiple times in this channel, yeah, this is a good point. Check this out. How to install. That's it. Pip install Open WebUI. Open WebUI serve. Simple, clean, amazing. As you know, I love virtual environments. If you're not familiar with virtual environments, I'm gonna leave in the card a video talking about virtual environments. But let's do this right now. User local bin Python 3.12. I'm gonna use the 3.12. And I have this Intel 64 just to emulate the Intel processor. -M to set the module. VEnv of virtual environment. And I'm gonna create here Open WebUI VEnv. That's it. This is gonna create this virtual environment for us. Let's activate this virtual environment. Bin activate. You can see that we are inside the virtual environment because of this. And now pip list. I have nothing yet, just the pip. Let's bump our pip because I can see one new version, 25. There you go. What now, Wally? Let's copy this one, paste. and be happy. Let's wait for this to install. This will be pretty quick. You can see that this is installing a bunch of Python modules, which is great. This application is using a lot of Python modules. This is the expected behavior, like finishing with no errors. And the next one is just copy and paste to start the server. Let me clean up the screen and boom. Basically, this is gonna start this application. You can see this is work with Python 3.12, the one that we set to create a virtual environment. This is gonna deploy the application basically, and pretty soon this will be available on port 8080 on the local host. So I can use this on my local machine, or if I like to open this to my network as well, I can for sure. But instead of be using my local machine, I could put this in a container in a different machine that I do have in my environment. Again, for the sake of this video, to keep it simple, I will be doing this, like just creating a virtual environment and pointing to localhost. And then I should be able to connect this with no problem. There you go. We have this one over here running on my NAP address, or including localhost on port 8080. I can stop anytime typing Ctrl C like this. Ctrl C, the application is gonna stop. That's it. If I like to restart, just rerun the command and the application will be there up and running. All right, let's take a look. Localhost port 8080. This is the application. So let me put like this. We can see the log of the application over here. So all the information will be logged over there. Let's click on get started. Here you can see name, email, and password. Like this is not gonna be uploaded to any place. This is just a local information that will be created, like the user that will be admin of this application. But all the information here will be a local information. So I'm gonna put my name, my email, and the password 1234. That's okay, no big deal. Okay, we can see that worked. We can see the new releases or new information, some fixes about this version and something that got added, which is amazing. This is like a release version. And from here, this is the initial page. And okay, can I type hi here? This is gonna work? No, because you just deploy. This has no idea about your configuration. Similar to the Windows box, you have to do one initial configuration. And how can I do that, Wally? All right, let me move this one here a little bit like this. Let's click on the name, settings. You can click on admin settings. Over here, you can click on connections. And then we have this configuration. Let's click on the gear. Yeah, you can see with me. And check this out. Now we have https api.openai.com/view1. There you go. We have already our information. I can do something like this. Copy and paste here. Or I can use my IP address if I wish. Would you prefer the IP address? So let's pick again the IP address. I can copy here. I can paste the IP address. Okay, HTTP, because we are not using any certificates, 192.168.86.228 on this port /view1. That's it. This is what I need. I can leave this one empty if I would like to, the system to pick all the modules. But once we know already the module, which is this one, I can click over here, copy the name, came to model or model ID, and then click on plus. And now we have this information. If you see, if I try to save, check this out. Hey, you need one API key. Because of that, I believe JanAI will have a nice feature or a nice request adding the token or the API token. Because all the time that we try to connect using a third-party application, different application, we have already this API and we don't have to fake anything. But once again, I'm just adding 1, 2, 3, 4. just add something that will be used just for the sake to fill in this field. Okay, so hit save. Let's save again. Let me clean up this. What you can do here real quick to give it a check is this. You can verify the connection. And you can see that the connection was 200 and then the server connection verified. You can see that information over there. So, okay, let's hit save. Let's come back to our main screen. We can see here the model selected is the one that we just added. And let's give it a try. Let me get back my monitor like this. We can see the information behind all of them and say hi. Look that beauty. And then once again, we are connecting using this application to this server. So tell me something about British Columbia. In this client, we can see the tokens per second. Uh, eventually, this is one feature that is hidden, or maybe something that we can request to add in this web UI. But you can see that this is pretty fast, and I love it. Like, again, if you have one machine that you have Python, definitely you can deploy this application and you can consume the JanAI that will be running as a server. So let me clean up this one again. What about Brazil? So once I send this one, check this out. We have the request. That machine is still collecting the information. Once that information ends, we should be able to see here the finishing or the closing. See? Like this is completed, like the request is completed. I sent all the information, you got everything, and then we are good to go. Pretty cool, huh? Let's keep going. We saw this guy, we saw the Linux, Mac, or any other thing that you have, at least with Python. If you have Python, you can deploy something like this, the Open WebUI. Both of them are consuming the HTTP. So now let's talk about the Granite model. This is also used by InstructLab. And if you're not familiar with InstructLab, so let's take a look here. Let's Google InstructLab. So we have this InstructLab. You can take a look. Feel free to join the community. And if we click here, you can see the GitHub page with a lot of information. And you can see the Granite LLM family. We have a lot of information. But Wally, what you're saying is, can we add the Granite on this JanAI as well? Yes, we can. So let me show you how to do that. I mentioned before that I was talking about Hugging Face. This is one path specifically for this Granite 7B. And let's suppose that I would like to search and get this model on this environment, like in my local environment. About Hugging Face, you can access this website. You can navigate over here. There are a bunch of models. You can see a lot of information. Let me know if you like me to drill down this website. I'm not too familiar with them, but definitely I can. If you wish, I can definitely dive deep on this one and understand how this works, all the information. But for the sake of this video, I would like to add this module to our environment. So what I did was, let's pick this URL. I can return to the hub, and in this page, I can just paste and check this out. This will be able to analyze that model, collect the information, and if possible, we can download it. So let's download it and let's wait for this one to finish. Great, this was downloaded. We can click over here and we can see all the modules that we do have. This is the one active. This is inactive at this moment. So let me show one thing here. Now we can see Llama or Granite. So let's keep llama here. So let me do one thing. Let me change to granite just to copy the name of this model. And let's use the llama. Okay, this is started. Let's return to our main configuration. At this moment, I have just llama over here. So let me start a new chat and say hi again. We can see this is connecting and this is good. Now I would like to add the second configuration or the second model. How can I do that? Let's click on settings, admin settings, connections. Let's click on the gear. And here I can add that second module. So I can click on plus. Now I have this one available. Let's hit save. We can see that everything is good over there. Let's keep this one here. And now we can do something like this. Now we can see on the top like the two models that we like to interact. Granite and say hi. Let's say hi to Granite. And then we have the response. Could you tell me something about Canada? And then again, we have the response. And this is coming from this model. And here, if we copy and do the same question, changing this to llama, now we are interacting with this. So let's take a look in the response. There we go. I believe this is doing a query on the different models. However, if we take a look on this one, we can see the request is coming with no big deal. But I can also see that this is active, this is still inactive, in a way that I can stop the server. I can change this to granite and I can start. But again, even if I do my query to llama or granite, I will get the response. And in general, they are a little bit different, you know. So I believe the application is gonna consume both modules. Anyway, I'm still learning this. Let me know down below in the comments if you know for sure. Like when I do this kind of configuration, I'm querying the same model. I'm querying both modules. If you know this, I will really appreciate if you let us know. Like again, let me know down below in the comments and I will be really thankful. Okay, so for the sake of learning, this was a great experience because at the end of the day, doing a quick recap, we have this machine. This machine is pretty powerful. As we saw, I can do the query locally. If you have just one machine and you like to play with LLM, definitely you can use JanAI. You can download your model and you can play with. If you have multiple machines, Microsoft Windows, for instance, you can install JanAI and you can use JanAI as a client just to connect direct to that server. If you have Windows Box or if you have any other Mac, you can do the same. Download JanAI, install, connect, that's it. For the sake of your own machine, if you're running this on Mac, you can definitely use Open WebUI to do the query, connect, and we'll be working like this. Like you can open a browser, you can play with. And again, the best here is this is free of charge. There is no charge at all. And this totally deserves your subscription. Cool. This video was different from any other video on this channel. Let me know down below if you like this kind of content, if you like to hear more about AI, what are the topics, what are the questions that you may have, something more deep, something more superficial, something about configuration, specific modules. I'll do my best. I'll try to compile all the information that you need, that you're asking for. And that's it. Don't forget to subscribe, allow the notification. Feel free to join us in our Discord channel and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.